Ah, there we go. Now we can talk. Typical Monday. Typical Monday. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry about the audio issue. We got you back here. Thank you, Pete, for letting me know there's no sound. Appreciate that. Well, it's episode 20. I'm just going to repeat what I just said, even though you guys might have been able to lip read off of me there. But thank you guys so much for all your support. This is episode 20. We've been doing this for 20 weeks, actually a little bit longer than that. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And we've been gaining a lot of subscribers this week. I think we picked up 15 or 20 just this past week. So thank you guys so much for all that new support. Really means a lot. Helps me keep motivated and keep going with this. So hopefully it gives us a little bit of a boost and we can keep this rolling. But like I said, episode 20 today, so big achievement there. And we are only a few subscribers away from 250, which is kind of our milestone there. So hopefully we can get that this week, and then we'll be able to do some stuff for you guys as well. So let's jump into it, guys. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a whole new system set up for shipping and everything. So you're going to have to bear with me. It's probably going to be filled with a few hiccups and so on here and there, but it might actually move a little bit quicker. We are trying to speed these up so that we can show some other stuff in these videos. But our sales just keep going through the roof, which is really good. But it's kind of causing me to have a lot more shipping and a little less time for other things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. Obviously, the big topic for today is going to be, can just anyone really be a reseller? And that's kind of going to be an interesting topic. I'd love your guys' opinions on it. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you that are already watching, or if you're watching this on the replay, leave me a comment. Let me know what your opinion is on this topic, okay? Can anyone be a reseller? And then we're going to discuss it here in a little bit, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it beforehand. And then obviously, if you're rewatching this, then we'll catch up and I'll leave comments in reply to what you've posted, and we'll see what everybody's opinions are on some of these topics. I'm not necessarily going for just hot topics and controversial, which I don't think this one really is, but I think I've got a little bit of a different opinion or a little bit of a different idea behind it. So we'll see what you guys think as well as we go along. But we're going to jump right into this, guys. So I mentioned we've got a little bit different setup this week. I don't even know how many orders I've got going out because I've been shipping and packing. Well, I haven't been shipping them, but I've been printing the labels, packing a few of them already, and so on. So it's kind of a mixture. As you can see, we've got the label wall here on the side, but they're all turned around, and it's because we've gone ahead and added the tracking, all that stuff into the orders. So there won't be any scanning, or at least there shouldn't be very much scanning going on today. We're just going to be literally packing and slapping the label on, but I'm going to try to make sure I get the right thing going out to the right customer, because we don't want that to be an issue. So we are going to reference our sales here and kind of move through it. But like I said, I think just basing it off of what I see here, we've got about probably 35 orders going out, and this is just Saturday and Sunday. I did again ship my Friday orders, but it is Saturday and Sunday. My numbers, though, I keep forgetting to tell you guys in these, if you guys care. I don't know how much you guys want to know what my sales numbers are, but I keep forgetting to put it in the video like I've done so far. So we're going to start with that. We actually did about $2,200 in sales over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, even though I'm only shipping Saturday and Sunday's orders, just to keep the numbers kind of metric to what we've been doing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday orders are going out, and like I said, around 2,200. Again, nothing crazy. The week was crazy. All week long, I was shipping 15 to 20 orders a day, which is just insane for me. So super happy about that. But as per the usual recently, the last 3 days have been slow. So I don't know if people just aren't buying on the weekends, or if this is just something with my eBay algorithm. I don't know. But it is what it is. So we're going to just go with it. We'll take the sales as we go in. PJ Miller, thank you so much for joining. Hope so. I think you're referencing the Can Anyone Just Be a Reseller? So like I said, we'll get into that here in a minute, but yeah, there's a couple of different things with that. All right, let's start off with the first order here, if I can remember where I put it. And of course, I actually put it in the wrong spot, so let me reach and grab here. All right, first order going out, we have these American Eagle flag boxer briefs, and we sold 3 pair of these to a repeat buyer, which I think they bought from me before. They might even be in this list. I'm not sure on that, but we did sell those going out, and so we're gonna get those packaged up real quick. Paid $6 total. We paid $2 a pack for these, and we are selling them for $13 each. So obviously with these going out to the same buyer, we're going to save a little bit on shipping. But yeah, not bad there. I've got tons of these. I bought, I don't even know how many of these I bought. Probably 300 pair or so. All different sizes when we caught this deal as a call out in bread and butter. And it's been a while ago. Like I said, this is probably at least a year ago. And they move around 4th of July. During the summer months is when they really like to sell. So we'll see how well they keep going. But like I said, we sold quite a few this weekend. So cool to see those go out. Next order we have some Under Armour lockdowns. These are my bane if you have followed along much recently. These are from a Kohl's clearance event. We picked these up. I think we paid less than 25 bucks for these. Yeah, probably $24 it looks like. 23, 24 bucks for these. And we are selling them for $60, and they're selling super fast. Honestly, probably one of the fastest sellers I've had in a minute. What's been kind of annoying with these is I passed on a whole bunch of these. 2 of my stores had a few of them, and I picked up all those, got to the next stores, and they had literally 20, 30 pairs. And I got scared off kind of. Well, I didn't have room either, but I could have made another trip. But I just didn't end up buying them, and now I'm regretting it heavily. And that's what happens sometimes when you're comping. You may not see exactly what you're looking for. Like these particular ones were selling really well under 2 listings. Like 2 of the listings had several, pairs sold under those 2 listings, but it looked like just 2 of them sold when you looked up comps. So a bit of a bad on my part. I should have been a little more meticulous when I was sourcing them. But again, I seen so many in store. I figured they were going to tank pretty bad. And they haven't really, or at least not so far that I've not been able to get the 60 bucks out of them. So is what it is. Live and learn. Next time we know not to just skip on the Under Armour basketball shoes. Let's see what's been going on this week, guys. How about you? Feel free to let me know in the chat or in the comments what your guys' week looked like. My week was just listings. That's pretty much all I did this week. I had a large hat bulk buy come in of about 1,000 hats, I think, total between the buys, and so we got most of those listed. I'm finishing up the last of them today, so we'll see how those do, but definitely kept me busy for the week and got me a lot of listings going up over the week. For the next couple of weeks, we got those all scheduled and going out, but just basically took this week to try to get caught up on listings. What's up, Andrew? Thank you for joining. Love it when notifications actually work, right? I appreciate it, man. I'm not sure, what happened with notifications last week. Nobody got them, apparently, because I had a couple of people that told me the same thing. If it's not eBay, it's YouTube trying to mess you up, so I don't know. Not much else I can say about that one. We're going to grab Polly's. As you guys can probably tell, and I kind of mentioned it already, we are shipping back with eBay, Amazon, and Pirate Ship, whichever is cheapest for those. So my orders are going a little bit different. I am poly mailing a bunch of these, just try to keep the weight down. And honestly, I probably should have been to begin with, because it's just extra money saved, and really no one's going to worry about it, especially with a $60 pair of shoes. Now, obviously, if you're selling some Jordans or something like that, you're not going to want to ship them in a poly. But I think we're going to try this for a while. If we start getting complaints or anything, then we'll address it. But for now, we're just going to roll with this and see how it does. All right. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for my bigger polys. I accidentally ordered the wrong size. Excuse me. Well, I ordered the right size for what I bought before, but I forgot that they weren't actually big enough to ship some of these larger boxes in. So we are waiting for polys to come in, but we'll get those in pretty soon here. I think they'll be in by the end of the week. And then we won't have to do all this taping and random stuff with these ones. So, but we'll see how that goes. Gonna just wrap this one around here. Like I said, these are size 11s. We pay 25. We're just gonna say 25. This is a little less than that, but 25 and going out for 60. So this was more of a volume play again with a lot of the shoes that I bought from the last sale. I am just doing volume plays, making $10 to $15, pretty much a straight 15. Every now and then I make a few extra bucks depending on where it's being shipped. Like these ones actually only cost I think $8 to ship, so I made a couple extra dollars. What was I saying? But yeah, so more of a volume play, but like I said, they've been selling fast. Those, some of the Nikes that I bought recently, just trying to get some turn in the stuff and on the stuff that I know is going to sell well. Next up, we've got a, let's see, what is this? Tampa Bay Rays mesh back. These are the batting practice hats. All these styles, this batting practice style has been doing really well for me. I've sold out of a few teams already, and the Rays are starting to move now. So hopefully we can move through a bunch of those this baseball season. I feel like baseball and basketball season is so long. I've mentioned before that I follow football mostly, and it's crazy to me. It feels like they're constantly playing. I can't keep up. But this one here, again, $13 average is what we pay for these, depending on the bulk deal. And we sold that one for $43. Shipping went up, as you guys probably have been. It's been posted everywhere, but USPS raised their prices again this month. Everybody's freaking out as per usual, even though it happens every year. It's really not that new of an idea, but it does happen every year. It sucks. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't care. I mean, obviously, you know, it's more money out of our pocket. But as with everything in the world today, if inflation's happening and it's going to go up. So not a whole lot we can do about it. Just got to make sure that we adapt. That kind of leads us into our topic here, which I wasn't planning on getting into right away, but we'll go ahead and get started on it because I think everything else is going to kind of tie into this. Can just anyone really be a reseller? Okay. So I feel like this is kind of a topic that gets really pushed in a lot of videos, that, you know, anybody can do it and so on and so forth. And I think there's two different categories of this, and this is where it's going to be maybe my little bit of a controversial opinion on it, just due to the fact that I think anybody can do reselling, but I don't know if everybody should be doing reselling, especially as, for sure, a full-time business, but even more of a part-time business where they rely on the income at all. Okay, so that can fall into two categories. Obviously, full-timers. If you're going full-time, you're making your money and you're paying your bills and everything from what you earn with reselling. Should and can anyone just be a full-time reseller? No. Okay. I'm gonna be, I don't want this to come across rude or arrogant or anything like that, but there is a difference in selling part-time and doing it as a hobby versus doing it as a business. Now, I'm not here to say that you can't, okay? That's not my thing. I'm going to kind of list out some stuff here as to why I feel this way, or why I think this way. But it's just like anything else. I feel like, should everybody be a firefighter? Okay, you can throw that into the equation. No, okay? Obviously, if you're afraid of fire, probably shouldn't be a firefighter. But if you know, there's multiple reasons. Personally, I couldn't be a firefighter. I'm not strong enough. I'm not... I'm not heroic enough, I guess you could say, or anything like that. If I really put my mind to it, yes, I could probably learn it. But there's certain things that you have to have, whether it's skill set or whether it's just how you think and stuff like that. You can't run. Not everybody's meant to be a business owner, and I think that's what people misunderstand with reselling a lot, is that they feel like reselling is just a simple task. It can be their hourly job that they go and do, whereas reselling is running your own business. And if you don't know and have the skill set to run your own business, or have the thinking and knowledge, or behind the scenes of how to be profitable and stuff like that, it's not going to work. and it's not going to be something that you can do full time. Now, I'm going to take that a little bit further and even go into some of the part-time resellers, the people that are using this as their income. You really have to be careful. Again, if you aren't running a, you need to understand how to run a business. I'm not saying nobody can learn it, but it's not as easy as just buying an item, putting it on eBay, and selling it, getting your money back, and making a profit. There's a lot more that goes into it, and we're going to try to discuss some of that today. If you guys have any opinions already on this, let me know. Thanks, Andrew. See, you posted just now. I'll read that in just a second. I would love to hear what you guys have to think of this, because again, can anybody do this on the side? Can anybody do a side hustle of this job? Oh, absolutely. Okay. But to run it as a business and to actually make money at this, beyond just, you know, I don't know how to put it in a correct term without it sounding rude, but if you don't understand how much money you're making on something and what kind of cost you have to put in and your time that you invest into it, you may not be making as much money as you think. And I think that's where I'm trying to get at this. Chuck Norris, Andrew says, reselling can become a huge money pit, part or full-time, if you don't understand how to do it for sure. Easy hobby, hard business. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel, because I watched a video, okay? I'm not going to go name names. You can go find a lot of these videos, okay? But what caused me to think of this, and here I am not packing anything while I'm talking, what caused me to really think of this topic for today, and I've kind of had this idea in the back of my mind off of just different things I've seen people post or questions or comments or whatever, but I seen a video where someone was bashing eBay, okay, which is fine. Not everybody needs to agree with eBay. But their opinions and their things that were like, they spent 10 minutes in a video on bashing about eBay, got me starting to think. I'm like, this is not, if this is the biggest issue that you're having with eBay, you couldn't operate a retail store. You couldn't operate any small business in a public facing thing because of these one little issues. And we're going to talk about some of these. I think I've got a list here. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to discuss them, okay? And I'm not necessarily going to address the idea or the specific thing, but what their opinion was on it and how I disagree, kind of. Now I know that's I don't want to post the video, and I don't want to. It's nothing against them personally, but it really reminded me of just why not everybody should be doing this. So before I get into that, let's keep shipping here. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. This is a really cool hat. I don't know. I love the minor league teams. The logos, I think they're so cool, so unique. This is the Carolina Mudcats logo here on a 5950 fitted. This is a 7 3/4, so it is a bigger size. Listed it for $40 and it sold within a day. This particular one probably may have priced a little bit less. I need to check. A lot of these are only produced for a short time and then you can't buy them anywhere. And when they are produced, they're most generally only sold at the team's fields or local stores around them. They don't really get put anywhere else. So it's kind of hard to find. I am a huge, I love the Daytona Tortugas logo and everything like that. So I'm a big collector of those hats. I never find them unless I buy them off their website as soon as they drop because they sell out quick. And then I don't live anywhere near them, obviously. So we're going to have to find this label. I think I have it right here. There we go. But yeah, so they do really well. But it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. Those minor league teams, not all of them do great, but and it is kind of hard to tell because there's not a ton of comps on them. But if you can get them cheap enough, I think I pay less than $10 for these. I'm gonna buy them all day because they do sell eventually, and like I said, they're hard to come by, so people are willing to buy them and pay, you know, retail price. This was retail. This had a $40 sticker on it, so nothing crazy there. All right, so let's talk about some of the, I'm just going to address some of the things that were in this video and what caused me to think of this. And then if you guys have any opinions or any ideas of what you've heard or seen other resellers complain about, or not just complain about, but what they have issues with, and whether you feel like that issue is a business related issue or if it's just a emotional issue. Okay, I don't know. Emotional issue, something they think too much on. Okay, and we're going to start with one right now. Okay, so one of the biggest things that they spent a whole bunch of time on was negative feedback, and the person like literally spent 10 minutes talking about negative feedback and how it wasn't fair that they weren't able to get the feedback removed because they refunded the customer. And this is a huge thing for me, because I feel like sellers don't understand, even though I'm sure they've done it themselves, how much of a hassle a return is. Especially if it wasn't the customer's fault. Now, if the customer wants to return it, that's on them. They can spend all day long trying to return something, however much time it takes. That's their fault. Okay. So I don't want that to be the thing. But the problem that I had with this was, like, one of the examples that they gave was that a customer's item was damaged, the box was torn open, and that a bunch of the stuff was missing from inside. And we're talking, like, it wasn't poly mailers, but it was something like that. It was, hundreds of them in a box or whatever. And the customer was obviously upset. They messaged him and said, hey, the postal office is requiring that we get photos of the sealed product to show that it was sealed whenever it's dropped off, whatever. I don't know what the case was, but long story short, the seller wouldn't refund them. And then when they did refund them, of course, eBay, they opened a case and eBay refunded them. And they were mad that the customer was able to leave a negative feedback because they got their money back. But that customer, what the seller had never addressed or anything like that in this video, was that the customer obviously was out of that product for however long, the 2 weeks they were fighting to get their money back. But they didn't get their money back until eBay made them give it back. And so on and so forth. I think a lot of you guys would agree with this, okay? Let's see, San Diego, white and brown, large, extra large, 39.30. I didn't show that hat. Sorry, guys. I'm getting caught up in my topics. That's just a San Diego 39.30 hat. Really unique color scheme. We sold it for, what did we sell it for? $33, and we paid $10 for it. Overall, not bad. And it was a large, extra large, which is a good size, so that makes sense. But anyway, so they were complaining about that feedback. The next feedback they were complaining about, even to me, was even more ridiculous. And again, this is just, we'll kind of discuss why I'm bringing these up. The next feedback was the seller sold a printer, a large printer, that they were not able to test, okay? They turned it on, but they couldn't test the print heads or anything like that. They didn't have paper, I don't know. They gave a whole bunch of reasons. They sold it as new working. It was in box and everything like that, but they sold it as new. Listed that they had turned it on and tested that, but they didn't list what they didn't test. And I understand that, so on and so forth. It's a big pain. But the problem was that they sent out the customer. The customer was frustrated because it wasn't working and was like, we'd like either a severe discount on the item to get it fixed, or we'd like to return it. The seller offered to return it, said, yeah, that's fine. I'm not giving a partial refund, just return it. So they returned it and sent them a label, whatever. The seller was out like $100 in shipping for the item. The customer got their money back. The customer did leave a negative feedback on them, stating that they were dissatisfied with the service. Obviously, who knows what the communication was in between, but that they did get their refund, but the item was sold as new and it was not working. That's a completely viable reason to leave negative feedback, in my opinion. Yes, they got their money back, but they had all their time out. They had probably 2 weeks at least before they got their money back from the item being returned, where they're out of printer, all because the seller wasn't honest in how they sold it. In my opinion, it wasn't honest in how they sold it. But this is what the seller was complaining about. Complaining about the fact that they didn't have, they shouldn't be allowed to leave that feedback because of this item. And I'm like, this is exactly the reason why people don't like buying on eBay. Because yes, they got their money back, but they're out 2 weeks of frustration trying to get it to work, their time trying to get it to work, figure out what's going on with it, if they're just not operating correctly, all this stuff. Anyways, long time, I'm not going to rant on that forever. But that is the type of thing that this seller was complaining why they didn't like eBay and why they weren't going to be selling on eBay anymore. That was one of them, okay? If you've ever dealt with retail and you've ever dealt with any kind of customer service, okay, you're not going to make every customer happy. And I know I harp on bad feedback. It annoys me. It shouldn't annoy me. It should just be whatever it is. It's like a bad review. When a customer leaves a bad review for a business, at the end of the day, there's probably not much you could have done to help that, especially as a small business owner and you being the one that's interacting. You can only blame yourself for how it's interacted. Not to say that the customer should be able to just leave negative feedback on you for no reason. but there's always something that could have been done. You're going to have that customer that's just trying to get something from you and you can't help them, and you have to accept that feedback and kind of expect it. It's just like customers coming in and yelling at you in store. But that's that type of thing. You have to expect that as a business owner, and you can't let it just eat at you and cause you all this stress and all this anxiety of reselling. It again, it's a business. You have to look at it as a business. Yes, you're going to have dissatisfied people. You can't please everybody. Welcome to the world, especially now. Um, but at the end of the day, it's part of doing business. It's part of the cost of doing business. And if you can't accept that and figure that out, it may not be the right game for you, in all honesty. Next up, we got this remote. This is a Samsung remote. I ended up with an extra one. I don't have a clue how. It's actually brand new. It's never been used or anything, not scuffed up or anything like that. I found it in a box and I listed it for sale for $14 and it sold. So we'll take that free into 14. Gonna throw that just in a little tiny poly here and get that shipped out. But the next things that some of the things they were discussing were eBay glitches, okay? Which I understand that frustration for sure. The problem that I see with most eBay glitches and so on is the fact that you can never really know what happened and whether it was, something on their end or your end or whatever. Again, I understand that, and that would be a thing. However, I can honestly say I've not dealt with any of the glitches. As long as I've been selling on eBay, I can remember maybe one. I don't even remember what it was way back in the day that there was a glitch and it got fixed within a day. Okay. That's bound to happen. I've seen Amazon go down for a full day almost where you couldn't get into your selling dashboard for at least half a day. It happens to everybody. There's nothing you can really do. At the end of the day, it's just like anything else. Your internet goes out for a day in your business. What are you going to do? You can't do anything about it. It's part of doing business. That's not a reason to just quit your main source of income on one of these platforms. What were some of the other reasons? Listing removals, claiming that there was a bunch of listing, Veros and listing removals. I'm sorry, that's online. Again, sell on Mercari, sell on Posh, sell on Depop, sell on any of these platforms, you're going to get items removed. It's part of the whole new system of making sure that companies have their rights to have their item removed and not, whatever. I don't agree with all of it, but it's just the case. That's how the system is set up. So to sit here and say that it's all eBay's fault or whatever, and why you're not going to sell on eBay and why you're only going to sell in person, again, it's part of doing business. It's part of adapting to it, and hey, you have to deal with it. You move on. I say it all the time. I know a lot of resellers say it all the time. Adapting is everything in this, because if you don't adapt, then you are going to get left behind. And we're going to talk about that in a little more depth. Gymshark tank, we sell these all the time. We're down to only a few more of these ones. These are the blue tanks. Sold this one, paid like $3 I think for these, and selling this one for 21 bucks, or 22, excuse me. $22, and fits in this nice little poly here, and is going to ship for like $4, so cannot complain. But anyway, so that was another reason. And then of course the promoted listings came up. Now guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I've talked about this in the past. If you follow my channel at all, I don't promote, or when I do, it's very limited. Basically, if I have a ton of an item and it's a larger competition area, I might do that, but I don't promote my listings. Does it help? Possibly, but I can't really support the idea, and that's been the whole thing with me. I just can't support the idea of paying to have my item put in front of people and not having solid 100% proof that it actually shows. And I think that's my biggest, and that is one of my biggest complaints. But unfortunately, again, it's everywhere. It's Amazon. You can promote your listings on Amazon and do ads, okay? You can promote on Posh now. There's some sort of promoted closet thing with Poshmark. I'm not even going to act like I know what I'm doing with Poshmark, but there's that. There's the Mercari, I think. I don't think they have promoted yet, but I wouldn't surprise me to see that come out soon. Just the way that it goes, it's becoming a major thing. Do you have to use it to get sales? No, but at the same time, does it help? Probably. And I'm just one of those holdouts that's hoping that if I don't and a bunch of us don't, then maybe it'll make a difference. I don't agree with it, okay? But again, that's just part of the business. If you're going to be an online reseller, you cannot just sit there and stick your head in the sand and act like it's not a part of it. and how you're going to adapt and work with it is going to be key. Sold another pair of these American flag boxer briefs here from American Eagle, size large, going out again. Sold these for $13.50. So with that being said, these were a whole bunch of reasons why this seller literally said they're taking all their stuff off unless they just feel like eBay is the only place that they're going to sell it. And they're listing there are so many other marketplaces is what they're saying, okay? But here's the bit of it, okay? Yes, there are other marketplaces that you can sell on and you can work on, Macari, Posh, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're going to run into some of those issues over there anyways. And eBay's the big dog. eBay still has the market share. Amazon has the market share over eBay, but at the same time, like if you're looking at a used market or anything that has to do with just personal sellers, eBay has the market share. They've been the big dog for years, and I don't see them changing. I really don't. I don't see anybody overtaking them within the next few years. So you can either jump ship and try to say that this is the reason why, or you can adapt and overcome some of those issues and realize that some of those issues are not an eBay specific thing. They're not a reselling specific thing. It's a business owner thing. This is something you have to deal with as a business. If you have a retail store, you have to deal with theft. Okay, everybody talks about being scammed out of items on eBay. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I can tell you right now that eBay and Amazon, in the past 2 years that I've been full-time, I've had maybe 2, if 3 at the max, bait and switch items on me. And when I say bait and switch, I'm talking full on removal of the item and a new item. I'm not talking that. Sorry. I'm not talking just full on, sending me a fake item. I've had one item come back that is not what I sent somebody. The other 2 or 3 items were stuff that they used and returned. Okay. If people understood how much of that goes on in a retail business and how much more you would have if you had a storefront or anything like that, it would blow their minds. It would absolutely blow their minds on how much of a cost loss prevention is and everything that goes into it. And you're still going to lose. You're still going to have, stuff like that. eBay is nothing. eBay and Amazon is nothing when it comes to that, especially with how people are just being able to walk out of stores and everything else now. So it's something to keep in consideration. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's annoying. It's part of it, but it's part of the business. And you have to look at that if you're going to do this full time or even part time and rely on the income. Okay. If you're a hobby seller, again, I kind of keep that separate. If you're a hobby seller, side hustle, whatever, I guess I understand being frustrated with it. But if you're looking at this as a business, you have to understand these are the cost of doing businesses or cost of doing business as an online retailer versus an in-person retailer or any other service that you're going to offer. It's just part of it. You have to be able to adapt to it. You have to be able to take it. You have to account it into your cost. You have to know what those numbers are to make sure that you're still making profit, even if you are running into these issues. And you have to run it as a business. You cannot run it as a side hustle and just make $5,000 a month off of the business if you don't look at it that way. So I feel like that's kind of an overall thing. I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of other topics that we could talk about when it comes to this, but that's what I'm talking about with being a business owner. And we talk about it every episode about adapting and kind of making changes, obviously, with markets. That's another thing people were complaining about. I see people post all the time, like with the whole shipping thing right now, shipping rates going up. Shipping rates are going up. I can't be profitable with these new shipping rates. Yes, you can blame the shipping rates. Obviously, that is the reason why you're not being profitable. But at the end of the day, if a $2 income is changing your profitability on an item, then maybe it's time to find a new item. Okay. Obviously, there's some high volume sellers on like Amazon that only make a couple bucks profit off their items, but they move hundreds and thousands of them or whatever. I understand that might affect differently. Okay. But from a small business, small reseller, anything, especially in reselling, let's put it that way, especially in reselling, you should not be reselling if your margins are so thin that a 10% increase in a fee or a 10% increase in shipping, which is what it is. Okay. It might be a little bit higher, 15%, I think, on some of the heavier items that you're shipping. But let's just say a 15% increase is going to cut your profit out. As a reseller, I don't know how profitable of a business that you're running anyways, okay? Because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't know with some of these volume sellers and stuff like that, there may be some differences there. So I don't want I don't want to go into too deep on that, but I feel like if you can't adapt to overcome an increase like that to where you're not making money all of a sudden on your items, especially as a reseller, okay? You choose what you buy as a reseller. You choose what you're going to buy to make money on. And I'm sorry, there is so much stuff out there to make money on that a 10 to 15% increase isn't going to put you out of business. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm literally seeing people complain that they aren't going to be able to make their ends meet because they're not making money anymore because of this price increase on shipping or whatever it is. At some point, you have to be able to adapt and change your business and change your model to make sure that you're still making money. It's the same with any other business, whether that's a service business, electrical business, and you're raising your rates, your hourly rates, or whatever to make sure your income meets what you need it to be, or whatever. You have to adapt and make changes. Maybe it's working less people but more hours, whatever it is, you have to adapt with that. It's the same way with reselling, and I feel like people need to really look at it as a business and quit thinking that everybody's out to get their money. Have I ranted long enough, guys? Let me know in the comments. I'm not trying to make this into a rant video, but I feel like I'm very passionate about it, and I'm very passionate about people understanding that just because it can be a side hustle doesn't mean you can take it and turn it into a full-time business and still be able to look at it as just something you're doing on the side. Next up is the Clubhouse Pirates hat here, $59.50. This is 7 1/8. Picked these up for $13, and this one sold for $43. Retail on it was $46. So under retail. Whew, sold one under retail. But it's going out. I do have a lot of my hats on a 5% off sale right now, guys. I have some kind of random things going on. But that's just because we have been trying to boost our sales a little bit, and I'm just needing to move a little bit of it, hoping that the sale pushes some of my older listings, the algorithm, and it does seem to be working. So we've been doing that as well. Again, 5% off isn't going to really affect my profits too much, but it's going to help hopefully move some stuff. And I just have so many hats, I need to move some of them. Not going to be tanking them or anything like that, but if I can do anything to help them sell, I'm going to do it just so I can keep buying them, which is what I love to do. All right, Chuck says also it's only a 10 to 15% on shipping price only. It's not like you're giving up 10% of the sale prior or something. Exactly, or price or something. Exactly. It's not a 10% or 15% increase on fees. And that's what people need to see. I mean, you take a look at the underwear that we just sold, the boxer briefs. It was a less than a 10% increase. I literally looked, I think it was like 5 cents or 7 cents on the $4 list, on the $4 label. So what did I say? 5 cents. So 5 cents on $5 is what? 5%, right? I think. It's my mathing. A 5-cent increase. Okay. Shipping, I know on priority mail and stuff like that, I think the max, or even USPS ground, here I am about to stick this in there without the label. What was that, guys? That was the Pirates hat, right? It was a $2 or $3 increase on like the 2 to 4 pound rate for ground. So say a $10 ground label, which is max, I think, to coast, almost for shoes. Okay, so it goes up $2. So that's a 20% increase on that shipping label. Okay, but that is the max that it went up for those items. Everything else only jumped like 3 to 5%. Most of them were less. So if you're shipping shoes, then yes, you got a 20% increase on your shipping fee. Like Andrew's saying, it's not 20% on the sale. It's not eBay jumping their percentage fee up 20%. It's the shipping label going up 20%. So it's really costing you $2 more. So if someone comes to me and tells me that they can't make money on these Skechers because the shipping fee went up, why are you only making $2 when you're spending $15, $20, $25 for the item? That's where it comes into adapting, and you shouldn't be selling and only making that, in my opinion. Again, unless you just have a high volume item that you're selling on Amazon, I don't think there's anything on eBay that you should be selling that has such a high volume, unless it's electronics or something like that, that you should only be making $2 on a $25 investment. That's just not smart business. That you don't go into any Walmart or anything like that except for certain brands, certain electronics or something like that, where their margins might be so low. But most companies have a margin set where they only buy or will only stock an item if they're making a 20% or a 30% margin on an item. That's how you have to look at it as a reseller. You shouldn't be selling anything you're not making that margin percentage that you want. Just my opinion. Of course, that's what we do here on the show. But I feel like I'm not completely off. And if I am completely off, you guys need to let me know. You guys need to keep me in check in the comments and in the chat, because I'm here to learn just as everybody else is. And I feel like, you know, maybe I'm not always right, obviously. So maybe I'm not on this one either, but I would love to know what you guys think on some of this stuff. Next up, we've got these Skechers. This is the last pair of these. This was a crazy good call out over in Bread and Butter. Attaboy, I don't know if he's still over there or not, but he had a crazy good call out on these. I think we cooked these for like $15 a pair for steel toe Sketcher work shoes, and they flew. These things sold so fast for me up until they got tanked really bad. I don't know if Skechers clearance them out or whatever, but sold them like crazy. Paid 15, and we sold this one. Ooh, I forgot to write it down on these ones. I want to say, yeah, we sold these for $57, and that was after I put them on sale. We were moving them for 60, so 15 into 60 is what we made all day long on these. And finally, my last pair going out, and it is a size 11.5. I figured it would move a little bit faster, but size 11.5 going out. Crazy deal on those. I wish so bad I could find more of them. Kind of like those lockdowns, except for these were way more profit. But yeah, anyway, so that's, again, guys, that's what I want people to understand, especially with this video. I know we've been getting a lot of traction on some of our, well, I say a lot for me, but we've been getting some traction on some of the replays. People have been rewatching these, and I appreciate that so much. And I feel like it's just something that is just so overlooked. Everybody wants to say that Amazon sellers on YouTube are the ones that, you know, basically lie straight to your face and tell you, you know, oh, you can make so much money and they're selling you a course or whatever. You know, you guys have all heard this. But in all honesty, I feel like a lot of eBay sellers are leaving this out, or not even leaving it out, but they just aren't in the right mindset to understand that eBay is a business and we are a business, and it's just like anywhere else. You have to just figure it out and figure out what's going to work for you and adapt and make things happen. The more you sit around and try to blame your success or your failures on a platform just shows that, in my opinion, full honesty, my opinion here, just shows that you're not meant for this business. You're just not meant to run an operation. You're just not meant to run a small business as a full-time thing. If you want to side hustle it, go for it. But I do not recommend anybody that has these issues that can't overlook them. I'm not saying you can't be upset with it. I can't say, you know, obviously if eBay raises fees, and yes, we're going to be a little bit bummed on that if we're not seeing a bigger return. But if eBay raises fees and all of a sudden they're able to offer us more sales and stuff like that, I'm all for it. Okay, you know, like if there's more value to my buck. But, you know, obviously not raising them just to raise them. I understand they have inflation too. I get that. Everything's going out. They have to pay their employees, all that stuff. But again, it's just part of business. You have to, yes, you can be aggravated and you can be upset with it, but you can't let it dictate what your business is going to do. As far as whether you quit and throw in the towel or anything like that, you have to figure out how to work with it, overcome it. And that's one of the biggest thing with business challenges. That's the biggest small business challenge I feel like to anybody, is figuring out how to fix this or come up with the solution to a problem. PJ said, how do you ship new shoes in a box that do not come with a lid? I ship them in a different box. So I have a couple of those. We'll go ahead and do one of those now, just so I can show you. For instance, it used to be really easy when I was using priority mail labels, but I'm not now. So with these, normally just ship them in these. These are just loose. These came in a box that had the top cut off. There's no reason to keep that box. Nobody wants it shipped in a tore up box, basically. So I always take them out. I may cut the end off of it and keep it with the shoe just so I have some of the details of it. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to take them out of that box, and we're going to ship them in another box. I bought these, and when I bought them, I was hoping that I bought them small enough, and it looks like I bought them too big. So we'll have to, hopefully I didn't buy too many of these. But these are just a box that I specifically bought. I paid, I think, 58 cents or something like that for these boxes. Like I said, this one is going to be too big, which really, wow, way too big. Okay. So we're going to have to review that. I might have to buy a different box. As you guys can see here, that's way too much space. I was hoping to not have to use a bunch of packing, which we're going to right now because we have a bunch, but I try to save as much as I can packing. That I don't have to. This has got a scuff on the side. These I just picked up recently through one of my suppliers. I get a lot of my hats and sports apparel from. Crazy deal on these. I actually got these for 20 bucks. This is a school I'd actually never heard of. And again, we're just wiping off a scuff that these got. They're not worn. The bottom is completely clean. I just had maybe from another shoe or something like that. Yeah, this one's good. So we got these for $20, I believe. These Nike Pegasus. These do really well, and these are the college ones. You can get the Nike ones. We've sold the Nike one, or sorry, the NFL ones and stuff before. They didn't do super great. I mean, the margins were decent. We were buying them at Burlington at the time, but they've jumped the price on them quite a bit. This is the North Carolina A&Ts, and I've never heard of the school before. Wasn't sure if they were going to sell very well, but we actually sold this for $95, this pair here, and we paid $20. So super happy with that. Let's see here. Let me find the label, make sure that I didn't do it wrong. Nike A&Ts. Yeah, it is a ground advantage. So we're just going to pack these with things. What you would normally want to do, though, Miller, is find a box that's very close in size and just slide them in there. I don't like shipping them in polys. Some people do ship them in polys. I don't know. I don't like what that looks like to me, so I don't. But that's up to you. You can bubble mail or bubble wrap them or bubble mail them, whatever you want to do with that. But we're just going to put a couple of air bubbles in here, like I said, and ship these ones out. And we're probably going to have to look at finding a better box because that's just going to leave way too much space inside. That's one of my things. I try to minimize how much packing I use. I'd rather have a box that's more close to size. Means I do have to have more boxes, but these take up a bunch of space, and I do recycle these. Obviously, I don't make these. Bubble mailer or bubble wrap takes up a lot of space. It also increases your size, so when you put the box size in, you might pay more in shipping. It's pretty standard for this size, but when you get anything bigger than the shoebox size, then it starts to matter. So I try to get boxes that fit real close. That way I don't have to use much packing. It saves me in shipping costs and it saves me in space, which is, as you guys may know, is kind of a theme with me. Space is not something I have a great setup for. So always looking for ways to do that. All right, let's move on to the next item here. We're actually going to switch gears a little bit, go over to our Amazon orders and get a few Amazon orders for us out as soon as I get this sorted the right way. We've got a lot of Amazon orders this weekend actually went off, but that's because we picked up a bunch of hats to sell over there in a crazy deal. So we've been moving them over there. We picked up these Kimes Ranch. I think you guys may have seen me ship these before. Bought a few of them at a hat sale a few months back and sold them super fast. Walked in to one of my suppliers and they had a whole bunch of them, and then picked up a bunch in another sale. So we ended up with, I think, 20 of these or something like that. Paid $5 for these guys and we're selling them for $30, and they are selling quick. So I'm super happy about that. I think we sold 3 or 4 of them just yesterday. And we're going to ship those out for them. But yeah, crazy good deal on those. And it's those random brands. Honestly, guys, this brand, this is kind of a bolo. I don't really give bolos much. But Kimes Ranch, I think that's how it's pronounced, Kimes Ranch stuff. If you find it out there, it's not super popular everywhere. But it is kind of like I guess a Texas brand kind of style. That's clothing style. And they sell super well. And we actually sold, like I said, a couple different styles and even a beanie, which we'll get to here in a minute. All right, let me find those. I think they're in here somewhere. There we go. Now, a bunch of these labels actually printed out USPS. I had my shipping template for Amazon was messed up. And so a few orders weren't showing me ground advantage as an option because I had the handling time too low. So we fixed that. But unfortunately, all these labels or all the purchases that we did, I could have shipped them through Pirate Ship. But most labels were only like $1 more, if that, going UPS ground instead of USPS advantage. and I just went ahead and did it just because I already had everything in there, had all the dimensions, everything. It cost me a couple extra bucks, but honestly, I've got to, oh, I need to make sure I don't put that in there actually. Like I said, it did cost me a few extra bucks, but I have a pickup already scheduled for today for some other stuff going out, so it's not going to be an issue. We'll just have them pick up whenever they drop off my other boxes. Next up, we have something I bought a long time ago in a Ross arbitrage, retail arbitrage buy. Bought these for $20, not a good buy. Only sold them for 38 bucks, so we're just getting our money back out of these, but I'm tired of them being in there. These are the Crocs, is it a Bio Band, I think is what they call them, these white ones. They're actually really cool. I wish they were in my size. I keep them, but they're not. So we're going to ship those out. Like I said, we only sold them for $38, so we are literally going to break even on this one. But that's okay. I need to get them out of here. Let's see. What else can we talk about that has kind of to do with it? I've got a bunch of notes, guys, so bear with me here. Something that obviously we've talked about them, people complaining about negative feedback and so on. And again, it is frustrating. But one thing nice is eBay did just release an update stating that they are readjusting how they're doing their seller feedback. So, or not seller feedback, but how feedback adjustments. They are claiming that they have people actually reviewing feedback now more for policy violations, and they updated the policies a little bit. One of those biggest changes was the fact that what was it? If a buyer is refunded or the order is canceled, they cannot leave negative feedback, which is a super big one. Obviously, that would have affected whoever that person was that was complaining about it. But it is going to help with that. So if a buyer gets refunded or the refunds process, they can no longer, if it's been concluded, they can no longer leave a negative feedback, which is cool. That's a good one. Honestly, that's going to solve most of the issues. I feel like on when it comes to that. So that was cool. They did say they updated it, and I haven't gone through and actually read it. They didn't say what they updated, but they said they updated a few of the other feedback policies and some of the stuff that they're doing. Again, I didn't get a chance to just go through it and check, but hopefully they're on the right track with that. And hey, what else can we ask for? They addressed the situation and are trying to make changes to help out. Obviously, what people need to understand with that is that they're going up against Amazon, okay? And obviously we know what Amazon's rules are, and customers know what Amazon's rules are. So you have to somewhat adapt and make sure that you're staying competitive with your competition. Just like we change prices and all that stuff, you have to be ready to do that as well. Next up, we have this 940 Marlins hat here. Sold it for $25. I don't know what we paid for these. Probably $7 or $8. This is most certainly something I would have picked up at Marshall's or Ross. And we sold it, like I said, for $25. So not a bad flip. Did take a while to sell. Not a super popular color scheme, kind of that rainbow color on the logo, but we did get rid of it. So happy to see it go. With that, like I said, they've made some adjustments with that. Some people were upset that eBay is charging now for their express payout, or they're charging more or something. I thought they always charged. Maybe it was just my account. I thought they always charged for it, but again, it's kind of like when Macari was charging the $2 to get your money out of their account thing. At the end of the day, it's a business expense. If you need your money that quick, then you have to pay for it. It's just like going to an ATM. Nobody seems to care that you go to an ATM and withdraw your money instantly. You get charged a fee unless it's your bank. Same thing. Again, it's a business expense. Why everybody has such an issue with it, I don't know. But it seems to be kind of an ongoing thing. I lost track. Where was I? We talked about the shipping and all that. Getting to that point of the show where I'm trying to remember what I've talked about, what I haven't. I think that's pretty much on eBay. What have I, this week we've talked about trying to, advance and fix things on eBay to make sure that we're getting our stuff put back in front, whether that's price adjustments and stuff. I've been this week going through, like I said, I put a bunch of stuff on like a 5% sale, just try to give it a boost, and it seems to be working fairly decently. So just something to consider maybe doing again, just to kind of give yourself a boost in the algorithm, especially through these slow months. This is not something I'll be doing through quarter 4, because quarter 4, the sales are there and you don't really have to worry about it. But if you are trying to improve on some of your numbers. And right now I'm just trying to improve on space. So I'm literally trying to clear out some room because we are going to be moving, and the less I have to take, the more I can get banked up and saved. That way, when I get to the new spot, I can refill on inventory quickly and hopefully get that done before Q4. That's my goal. So I've tried to keep my spending limit down to nothing as much as I can. Only taking advantage of deals that I really feel like are really necessary, and hoping that we can keep that income coming. And that's why we're kind of clearing out some of the stuff. Next up, we have this Nike Futura hat we just picked up for 10 bucks, and we sold it for 50. Quick sale over there. I've sold these before. I've ordered them before online for different prices. It's a great hat, and it's really quick sell through on it. Wish I could have found some more. We only found, I think, 2 this time. So already sold one. I'm sure we'll sell the next one here in just a few. We're going to go ahead and do that. I removed these little tags. I don't know why. I just feel like it doesn't look very good. So I remove them before I ship. Just a little thing that bothers me. But we'll get that one shipped out. I did figure out, I had some issue. If you guys noticed, I sold a bunch of those brown Skechers kind of work boots, kind of like those black ones that we just shipped, but they were the brown non-steel toe. I sold the daylights out of those. Couldn't figure out why the grays weren't selling until a customer messaged me and asked me what color the item was. And I was like, well, they're gray, obviously. But then I realized that I had brown listed in the title of that one as well. So the title, description, everything said brown, but the photo said gray. And that's probably why they weren't selling. So got that fixed. Hopefully they start selling. But it really got me worried on how many other listings I have that are not selling because of a mistake in the title or something. I've done it before. I've messaged sellers when I've noticed a mistake or whatever, just to let them know. Some people really appreciate it. Others just don't like it. I don't know why, but yeah, if you guys ever go through any of my listings and see that there's an issue with it, please let me know, because I would much rather know than not have the item sell. So I had to get that fixed. Oh, I should have led with this. I actually got my Depop account back. So you may have seen my not so friendly review of Depop last week on the stream. Pretty frustrated, and again, probably shouldn't have been, but I was pretty frustrated with the fact that I got banned from Depop within literally 2 hours, I think, of starting to list on there. Finally got a hold of somebody that would actually address the issue, I guess you could say. Never told me what the issue was, but what they did is when I appealed again, sent an appeal, kind of reworded it, hopefully. I don't know, I wasn't unprofessional to begin with, but just to try to get them to tell me what it was. They sent me an email back letting me know that they needed photos of receipts of items with totals, copies of invoices with shipping addresses to my shipping address for items, as well as up-close photos of stitching and logos and stuff like that of the item. So basically they thought because I was listing so many at one time, I think they felt like I was just listing counterfeit or something. I provided them with like 50 some photos and like all kinds of stuff. Kind of a little trick Adam's mentioned over on Millennial Profit before. If you ever get audited or anything like that from like eBay or any of these companies, send them every single piece of evidence you can find. Most of the time they don't want to go look through everything, and they just will accept it. And I'm not going to say it happens all the time, but that's kind of how I handled this. I sent them tons of photos, sent them copies of invoices. I'm going to be honest with you, half the invoices may not have been items I had listed. I didn't know what I had listed because I had been listing so long and then realized that none of them were actually going through. So I didn't know what was actually up, but I just sent them just tons of documents. Within a day, they had me unlocked, apologized for the confusion on it, said your account been reinstated, no more bad marks on the account or anything like that. And we're good to go. So we've been listing on Depop and cross-listing over there. Got this Adidas hat. Again, picked these up recently for about $11, and we're selling them for $35. This was an in-store find. And yeah, selling for $35. I've sold these ones multiple times, so I knew they were going to be good. They aren't available from any other sellers, so when you have the market, you can kind of set your price, and they fly at $35. But with that being said, we did do some more cross-listing this weekend. Got it up to let's see, what did I get the listings up to? On Macari, I've got 1,000 listings up. On Poshmark, I have, I want to say 700 if I remember correctly. Depop was only at 250 because again I just got the account back, and then what's the other one? Posh, Depop, Macari. Oh, and Whatnot. I've got about 500 listings over on Whatnot. So we've got listings everywhere. We haven't gotten a ton of sales really this week. We'll talk about the one sale that I did get, which was pretty good. This one here is a 950 snapback Bronco Shark Tooth. This is kind of a retro style. It is not vintage. These actually came out not too long ago. We paid $16 for these, and they were going really well at the time. I probably priced them a little too high. They tanked down whenever I listed them. But I actually cross-listed this to Macari last night and sold within about 30 minutes of it getting posted over there. So super cool sale there. We did sell it for $39.99, which I probably, again, may have been a little underpriced on that. At least I think it was $39. I'll have to double check. I have the tag here somewhere. Here it is. No, sorry, we sold it for $48. So that's probably, yeah, that's probably why. But we sold it for $48 over on Macari. No fees, of course, but we do have the shipping fee, which costs about $5. So not bad, not a bad profit on it, even at the $16 buy price. But it did take a minute to sell, and like I said, it sold instantly when I got it cross-listed. So I guess there's a reason to cross-list. That person must not have looked over on eBay because they've been up on eBay forever. But we did get that sale. Other than that, I think we sold one or two things on Macari over the week. Have not sold anything on Posh since last week. We did really well with like 2 sales in the first day, and then it died on Posh. I understand you have to do a lot of sharing on Poshmark and stuff like that, and I haven't done any of it yet, so that's probably why. So I'm going to look into that. I know a lot of people have recommended Flip for a Posh bot or whatever to share and stuff. However, I was told it wouldn't work with Vendoo. Now, if anybody knows that's not the case, please let me know. I guess they are a competitor, so they may just be saying that. I just don't want to mess up my Vendoo listings. I just need a bot to share. I don't need anything else. I don't need to cross list or post or anything like that. So if you guys have any recommendations, any of you that sell on Posh and could fill me in, I would greatly appreciate that. That would help out a lot. That way I know what I'm dealing with. And we can hopefully get some sales over there. Now, I want to give an update on Vendoo. I've been trying to do this just to make sure that I'm covering. I don't want to give anybody the false impression. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. So these are all just my opinions. I've been pretty high on them as far as being worth it. And I still think it's worth it. Obviously the auto delisting is fantastic, and I think that's the reason I'm sticking with it. But I have run into some issues. So the main issue that I have is any quantity listing does not update. So if you have more than one item, it's not going to update your quantities on the other sites, which is not cool. So basically, if I have, say for instance, this particular listing, this was a brown Adidas tie-dye bucket hat. We sold these, picked these up a long time ago. I think we paid $10 for them. We're only getting 35 or 25 out of them, and they are selling super, super slow. All the other colors did great. Nobody wants the brown ones, so that's why they are a little bit lower in price. We were selling them for 30. They're down to 25, and I'm just now, this is actually the first one I've sold in a long time. So, but with that being said, I have a bunch of these. So if I had these listed on Vendoo, if it sells on one marketplace or the other, it doesn't pull it from any other place because it sees that when you imported it, it had however many your quantity was. The issue is if you sell one on eBay and you sell one on Amazon, well, not Amazon, but say Poshmark, and then you sell one on Macari, you've sold 3 total, but none of your quantities on any of the other sites got updated. So you have to go in and manually do that. So what I've been doing is I have there's a way to sort the sold items and stuff, and I go through about once a week and just update anything that's a multi-quantity, make sure that the quantities match what it is. It shows you how many have sold, so you can update it manually. It sold 3, so you can go in and change your quantities on each site to 3, but it doesn't do it automatically, and that's a bit of a bummer and kind of going to be a pain for me. We'll see how long it lasts with that. I may end up only cross-listing items I only have one of, which is not ideal. That's not what I wanted to do with it. So we'll have to see how it goes. Obviously, if you're selling one-off items, it's great. It's a great platform. I think it's the best out there, in my opinion, from what I've seen and what I've been able to try. But when it comes to multi-quantities, you're going to have to watch that listing a little bit more and try to make sure you're not losing out on that. As far as cross listing goes, it's so easy, guys, especially when you update like the weight and the that's all I've had to do is update the weights every now and then because I don't put weights on eBay. So when I import it, it doesn't have a weight. If you add that into the listing, all you have to do is hit cross list on every single platform and it does it. The only one that makes you put in any more information is Mercari if it doesn't recognize the brand, or Poshmark wants the original price, which is the dumbest thing I've seen on a reselling platform. But they want you to put an original price so it makes it look like it's on sale. That you have to manually put in. So, but other than that, literally, I can cross list to 5 platforms within less than 30 seconds, which is super, super cool. And like I said, if it's a one-off item, then when it sells on one, it pulls it from all the rest and you don't have to worry about it, which is super nice. Crazy good deal here. This is a McLaren Racing. I believe this is the Mexico City edition hat. $9.50 snapback. It's just a mesh back, but picked these up. These ended up in some of the stores here. They weren't supposed to be, so they clearanced them out, and we bought them for $11. This one just sold for $60 over on Amazon, which is absolute crazy deal. McLaren stuff is really hot right now, and especially in the racing stuff. Even the stores that got it said they sold a bunch of them already. So definitely keep an eye out for these. There's a couple different styles, obviously, but if you have this as a bolo F1 racing, guys, it seems to be making a comeback, or not a comeback maybe, but just more popular. But like I said, 10 into 60, we'll take that all day long, as I say all the time. What do we got next going out? What other topics do we have? Let's see. Got some Adidas slides going up next. What else can we, what on my list? I feel like I'm moving through them pretty quick. Y'all are leaving me with no questions. If anybody's got questions or comments or opinions or what's going on in your reselling or anything like that, let me know. It helps me be able to not just chatterbox over here. We bought these Adidas slides, picked them up for $12 in a Kohl's clearance event. I bought these a long time ago. They sold really well for me for a long time. Again, just like everything else, they eventually get tanked when they get clearanced out elsewhere. But these ones came back and we got $35 for these. So 11 into 35 is not a bad deal. And they always sell. I've sold a ton of these. I've probably sold 25, 30 pair of these over the past 2 years. And they keep restocking them and then putting them on clearance through the winter time. So definitely keep an eye out for those. Obviously not all of them, but camo is kind of big right now, so they tend to do really well. Going out to, I don't remember who they're going out to. I really got to work on some bigger polys here. I don't know if these are going to fit. Nope, they're not. So with going back to regular labels, guys, obviously I'm having to figure out what my sizes are and stuff like that, because what I've started selling is completely different than what I sold before when I was doing shipping. So all my normal sizes, the polys and stuff that I would have, I don't have them anymore. I've switched them over to shoebox sizes and stuff like that. So when you get to stuff like this, I really have to adjust what I'm buying, and unfortunately that means a lot more upfront cost until we can get it right. So I also need to get a better setup behind me. That way I'm not constantly hunting for polys. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is hunting for supplies. So I do want to get this area organized, but we've been kind of holding off until now to get everything in for what we are doing. My wife is looking at starting her own side business and doing some selling. She does some art and painting and stuff like that. She's getting ready to start that. Hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing with you all. But she's getting ready to do that, so I've been helping her out with that, and both of us are getting our websites ready to go. So that's been pretty exciting. I'm hoping that goes smoothly. We'll see. But so far we've been doing it. It's just getting the time to work on it. But super cool with that. So we've been trying to figure out how we're going to set up and make sure we have room for her stuff and my stuff now with the businesses. Definitely going to have to get someplace bigger when we move, for sure, because we cannot keep cannot keep cramming things in here. We ordered some poster tubes and stuff like that for her to send her prints out in. And yeah, those things take up a lot of space. So we've been trying to figure out how to get all that worked. That's been going on this week as well as everything else. Let's see. Next up, we've got another one of these Kindness Ranch. This is a little bit different style, but we sold this one for $29.99. And like I said, we've got a few of these also. I think we paid $10 for these ones. A little less margin on these, but still 10 into 30. And with how fast they sell, you cannot go wrong. Nobody go out there and tank me, though. I swear. Y'all start tanking my leads, I'm not going to give them. No, just kidding. Part of the game, part of the game. That was one of the other comments on that video, or one of the other things that they complained about, how everybody's tanking prices, which it is frustrating. Don't get me wrong, to have somebody just tank prices on you. But again, it's just part of doing business. You got gas stations side by side. They're going to undercut you on price. You have to be the one that, you know, decides and whatever. And when you're in this game, you learn what's going to tank, what's not, and you're also going to learn how long it's going to tank. Just because an item tanks doesn't mean you lose its value completely. It just means you have to wait for that supply to be gone. Depends on how long it's gone. If their Bissell stomp pads don't do it, they'll never go back up. But if there's, you know, if there are other items, for instance, those Adidas slides that we just shipped are a great example of that. They tank down, but after they tank down, they come back up, and you know, you can keep moving them at that price. You just have to hold out for it. Andrew says, do you think you will do any wholesale as you get bulk orders on your website, or will it be individual listings? So basically, like, am I going to do wholesale kind of like Adam does sometimes on bread and butter, like through that? If that's what you're referring to. I could see it happening for sure. It'd be a lot easier for me. That way people can just pay for it and buy it on there. I'd have to pay the fee, so I guess that wouldn't be as much. But I don't know. The website is going to be more for, it's going to be hats and shoes, basically. And it's only going to be dead stock. So my website is not just a reseller website. I'm not putting it out there as that. It's going to be almost like a hat store. So I'm going to have I'm going to try to do the marketing and everything like that to it, where it would look like a lids, not a lids, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm going to promote it and push it in and showcase it as its own website, as its own, getting its own product, all that, not have anything to do with the reselling platform. So I won't have eBay links. Yes, like that. It makes sense on the hat store part. Yeah, I don't want it to be, now that's not to say I won't have, it's not to say I won't have some of the reselling stuff on the website, as far as even under a different, maybe a different, what's it called? URL, so to speak, and it will just be the back end of it. But yeah, the website is just going to be set up as a storefront for my hats and stuff like that, so that people kind of get an idea. They want to check back with the website to see if I get new stuff in it and so on. It won't be a reselling website for sure. And Adam uses his kind of as like a merch site and that kind of thing. We may have, like I said, something similar to that for the YouTube channel and stuff, and we might work something out with that. But that's going to be later on down the road for sure. For now, it's just we're strictly limiting the website to just being a dead stock website, so to speak, a place where people can come find old hats and stuff like that they can't find anywhere else. That's the goal, at least for now. Next up, we got this Chicago White Sox hat, this Chi hat here. It's a pretty cool hat. I like the City. It's not City brand. I forget what. Oh, it is City Connect. Okay. I thought it was really cool, actually. But we are selling these for $40 or $38, excuse me, over on, where did I sell this? I gotta find the thing for it now. There it is. Uh-oh. Oh, I skipped it. Okay. Yeah, so sold that one. We paid $13 for it and sold it for $38, which is pretty good for a snapback, not gonna lie. Snapbacks tend to be a little less value, but if you get a cool logo or something like that, they tend to do just as well. $38.99 is the retail, so we sold it for retail, basically. And we'll get that boxed up. Shout out to Adam Millennial Profit. I shout him out all the time, but for the idea on these boxes, these have been clutch now that we're not using the priority mail ones. It's a 8x6x6, and basically I've not found any hat that doesn't fit in it yet, which he told me that, but you know me, I gotta prove it. But yeah, they work really well, and they keep almost every hat under 8 ounces, which is super nice. So you get that 8-ounce rate. That one's going out. Guys, we're moving through orders, but I feel like we're taking forever still. We've only been on 1 hour and 15, so that's good. But we've been talking about some stuff too, which is what we do here on the channel, and appreciate it. If you guys have any comments or ideas on what you'd like to see in a live stream, I know we brought it up. I know some people left some comments a few episodes ago. I have not forgotten about those. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably not going to happen until after the move, so it may be several months before those videos happen. I just can't keep going and trying new things while trying to get all this ready. My long-term goal right now, and I'll just share this with you guys. Another one of these Blue Chimes hats here, 5 in 230. One of my long-term goals, or not long-term, I guess, only a couple months out, but is getting ready for this move. And with that, what I'm doing is my goal is to get all the listings up this week, actually here today or tomorrow, get all my listings up to date where I have no more dead pile or death pile, so that I can take the rest of this week and going into next week, kind of over the long holiday weekend here, and just work on the website and hopefully get that launched here within a couple weeks. That goal of that is so that once I get that done, then my next focus and kind of what I'm going to put all my energy into is getting ready for the move. So whether that's going through all my listings, making sure that anything stale has been updated so that I can get as many sales as possible. Obviously, that should be the goal of anybody doing resale, obviously. But just really trying to focus on moving as much inventory out as I can right now. Not trying to take losses. I still want to make my margin percentages, but making sure that everything is up, everything is good to go, the pricing is correct, making sure it's not a stale listing, whatever, to maximize those sales and get as much inventory as possible. We're not going to be buying, which sucks because this is the time to buy, with it being the summertime, but we just have to kind of slow down on that and get ready for the move. And then basically what I want to be able to do is hit the ground running. I'm going to try to get my move organized so that I can unload everything and be ready to go, just ready to rock, so to speak, as soon as I get there. That way I can just start right into buying more inventory. That's literally the goal, is to be able to go. Hopefully the move will happen in the beginning of September, and then you just go right from September and go into buying as much inventory as I can for the quarter, to kind of resupply. And obviously right now saving up as much as I can so that I have the money to do that. So we'll see how it goes, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. And so I do want to get a few things, and I do want to get a couple videos and stuff done, because obviously during that move I'm not going to be able to do my lives for probably a week or two at least. So I do want to get some content up, and that way I don't lose the YouTube channel, the momentum that we're getting. It may be slow compared to others, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see the subscriber count going up and stuff like that. So I don't want to lose that, and make sure that we have something for that. So if you guys have ideas on what you'd like to see in the videos, please let me know. I'd be happy to, try to incorporate any of that, especially if it's something I can do here, whether it's topics or you guys want to see something different or anything like that, just let me know. And we'll do that. This is another one of those Chimes items, the Chimes Ranch. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Otherwise, somebody's going to really get me in the comments. But this is just a beanie. We picked these up for $5, and they are selling for $30 in the summertime. So somebody's cold somewhere. But yeah, these are still moving for us, which is awesome. I think I picked up 2 or 3 of these, and this is my last one. So sold all of these over the past month in the middle of summer. A lot of people ask, or I see people comment about posting during the, listing. When should I list my Christmas stuff and stuff like that? Get it up now. It can always sell. You never know when it's going to sell. And it can't sell if it's not listed, so might as well get it up there. Just be ready. Something that we've been talking about, been doing some discussions over in voice chat over in Bread and Butter. Link in the description if you're interested in signing up for that, or if you have questions on that, let me know. But that Discord group is awesome. We've been having some live chats over there, just hanging out with some of the resellers over there. And that was one of the things we were talking about, is making sure to refresh your seasonal items right before the season starts, whether that's delisting and relisting, adjusting prices, putting it on promo, whatever you want to do, however you choose to refresh your listings. But to do that way you can get it fresh in the algorithm right before the season happens, if you do list it throughout the year. So like what we'll do is probably in September, once we get the move done and stuff, to until we get some inventory to list, I'll probably be going through and just refreshing all my beanies, all my jackets, hoodies, all that type of stuff, getting those listings refreshed so that they are in the top results, making sure they're competitive for the Christmas season when everybody else is probably going to start listing theirs. Next up, we got these Phoenix Camo Tiger Camo, excuse me, Hey Dude slides. Picked these up for 15 bucks and we're selling them for 46 right now in this particular size. Pricing is all over, but anywhere between 40 and 50 bucks is what we're getting for these. They're not moving super crazy, but they did just clearance these out completely on heydudes.com, so they aren't going to be selling them anymore, at least not this season. So we cleaned up on them, and hopefully we can move these throughout the winter. Flip-flops still sell during the winter time, guys, especially as Christmas gifts and stuff like that. I find they do really well, so don't sleep on those if you're finding them on clearance already. All right. So today I'm going to be going through and getting, like I said, I've taken all the photos of all the last of my hats, finally, getting all those listed and ready to go. And like I said, today we just have to do the listings. That's all we've got left on them. So super excited about that, to get all that done. And then the rest of this week, I think we're just going to work on the website, which I like doing, but I also dread because I am not a marketing person. I have no graphic design capability whatsoever, and that's really what I need right now. So just working on that's going to be time consuming, and I think that's what bothers me the most, is that it takes so much time and I don't get anywhere with it. I feel like it's a waste. It's not a waste, obviously. You know, it's going to get us to where we want to be, but it's rough to just spend that much time when obviously I would much rather be sourcing or, you know, even listing inventory, getting it up for sale. Red Sox hat here. Shout out to Wonton over on the Discord group for wholesaling these out to me. Greatly appreciate it, man. This has been a great seller for us. Selling them for 50 bucks right now on eBay, or excuse me, on Amazon. But yeah, that is the goal for this week. Obviously, it's a long weekend. If you are a reseller, no mail is going to be running on Thursday. So keep that in mind. Kind of gives us a day off from shipping, or at least me. Something we did do this weekend, as I kind of mentioned to begin with, we did go through and print all labels. Pretty much I was printing labels 2 to 3 times a day. And I think it helped a little bit. I'm not seeing the increases like Adam's seeing with it, but I am seeing some increase on it. So it's been nice to, you know, see that. Basically, you know, you go and print labels and then you tend to end up with sales like within an hour or two, you get another couple of sales. Could be coincidence, honestly, but you never know, and that's why we do it. But it's also helping me keep track, gives the customer the sense that it's going out faster, and they don't request to cancel it, which is cool. Next up on the orders going out today are these Nike baseball pants. These are the short knicker versions. So got the real short pant leg there. Picked these up for $5 from Burlington's a long time ago, and they started moving for me on Amazon for $29. I don't know what changed. I've had them listed forever. So again, maybe I just got the tankers or whatever off of that listing. But we sold, I think, 2 or 3 pair this weekend. We've got a bunch of them still left. This is one of them. But definitely happy to see those get out of here. Everybody's still got fall ball coming up. So just because, you know, it's coming toward the end of summer. Well, it's not the end of summer yet. It's not even hardly halfway through. But, you know, don't be afraid of that stuff. It will still sell for you. CJ Treasure, what's up? Hey, what's up? How are you doing? I am doing excellent, my man. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you for asking. Hopefully you're doing the same. We've been just winging it out. I put a lot of time into listings and stuff this week and shipping. Like I said, we were doing 15 to 20 orders a day, all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday. Friday it started to slow down. So it felt like one of these days every single day, because I felt like I couldn't get caught up on shipping. I felt like I was spending an hour shipping every day, which is crazy, which is a good thing to have. I'm not complaining, but definitely makes you realize that, you know, more sales means more work for sure. Next up, we sold 1 bottle of VO5 shampoo here, and now they don't have the shipping boxes. I think we're just gonna poly these. If I can find a poly that'll work. I think we're just gonna poly these. They should be fine. And if it's not, it's a $10 sale. So we'll make do. So close. Not quite gonna fit though. So we gotta go with the bigger one. But yeah, so we're just gonna poly these that way. Oh, there we go. It gets there. Shipping on these I think is like $6 plus fees, which is gonna be $1.50, so $7.50 plus the 50 cents. So I'm making $2 a bottle off of these when they only buy one. I really wish they'd buy more. Actually, I lied. I probably only had about $5 in the shipping label, so we'll deal with that. But yeah, about $2.50 in profit on these, but they are selling, and I just really need them out of here. I have probably 25, 30 cases of this stuff for sure. And I'm going to keep these ground as well. All right, oh, no, not quite. Second to last Amazon order. We got this Adidas trucker hat. We picked up for $10. Sold it for $28.99, and they sell super fast. This is one of those foam truckers. These have been doing really well for me over there. This one looks a tiny bit discolored, but I think that's how they all looked. I hope. I didn't notice that. We're going to ship it. It's Amazon. If they want to return it, they get free returns. I don't think it's not dirty. I think it's just may have been sitting under a light or something. Hopefully. I had a bunch of these and I should have paid attention. I don't think I ever really paid attention to them to see if that was normal or not, but oh well. Like I said, it's Amazon. They'll return it if they want it, or if they don't want it, it's worth the shipping, and I think it's only going to cost me $4. Ooh. Out of tape. What do you know? All right. So let's replenish that, and we'll be good to go here. Next up, we've got an Under Armour hat that I don't remember. Oops. Did I not put a label on that one? Nope, I didn't. Getting really bad about that, guys. You guys are going to have to warn me about that if you see me do it. Post office doesn't like when I send out items without labels. Under Armour hat is going out next. This one here, oh, we got this in the Kohl's sale. I didn't realize that. Paid $9 for it. Actually, I think they got this just this last week, or the 2 weeks ago, whenever the Kohl's sale was, the most recent one. Yeah, sold it for $35, so 10 and a 35. And it's a size small medium, so I don't know if people just don't buy those to resell or what, but there are people that have small heads out there, and they do buy. Obviously not as fast of a sell-through as some of the others, but this particular one did really well. Under Armour hats, guys, are another big bolo that I found. If you're okay with selling them on Amazon, they still sell well on eBay, maybe not for quite as much. But if you sell on Amazon, I would highly recommend checking them out. If you see them on a good deal. Like I said, I try not to spend more than like $10 max on them, depending on the style. But done very well with those over the past few months for sure. All right, what do we got next? Well, I guess I should finish this one up. Something, guys, let me know. Have you guys seen anything about selling on Walmart? Watched a video of, I forget what the name of the group is. But they say that eBay is kind of, or not eBay, sorry, Walmart is becoming the new Amazon as far as how quickly you could flip stuff and so on. One of the things about Amazon, though, or excuse me, I'm going to get it right one of these days. One of the things about Walmart is that they do require you to already be an established business. So basically, to get approved to sell on Walmart, you have to have a business setup as far as on eBay or Amazon or Mercari or whatever. I don't know about Mercari, but I know eBay and Amazon for sure. You can use them as like proof. They're going to ask you for links to it so they can see your product. You also have to have an EIN, which is an employee identification number. I don't have that yet. Once we get moved, I will be setting one up, just because I may actually end up with employees at that point. But anyways, you have to have that to get listed over on, to be able to sell on Walmart. And there are still gated products and so on Walmart. There's some stuff you just can't sell over there, but people are saying that, you know, they're having a lot of success over there, similar to how, like I said, how Amazon was back in the day, a few years ago, especially before COVID. So something I might check into. I don't know how well, like my stuff, I don't know if you could create listings or if it's like Amazon and you have to have the listing already there. I don't know anything about it really. I've seen it for a long time. I take that back. I know you used to be able to create listings, because when I worked for buyrockandroll.com. We used to create and sell over there. We had just started to right before I ended up getting a full-time retail job, or assistant manager job. And so when we were doing it, we were creating, but I don't know how that is anymore. That was several years ago. So definitely something though, if you are a bigger reseller and you're looking for another platform, maybe an option, like I said, we'll be looking into it and we may cover it later on once I get into that, but it's going to be a few months for me before I get to that point where I can take on another platform, especially if it's going to require some effort in getting it all set up. All right, moving on here, we're going to move on to some of the next few orders here. We don't have too many left, guys, so we'll move as quickly as we can. I do want to say a huge shout out to all of you guys that have joined. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like button while you're there. That helps us out a lot, and I think it's been helping out tremendously on some of the other videos. Also, feel free, if you have questions or comments or anything like that, and could do me a huge favor, after this video is done, or if you see it in your feed again, pop back on and leave that in the comment box of the video. Not everybody sees these live chats, so sometimes they have to have it turned on or it has to show or whatever on their screen. So sometimes any of these questions that you want to leave down there help out, and any comments and interactions like that on the videos help out tremendously. So I appreciate you guys doing everything you do for us, obviously, already, but like I said, if you do think of it, that would be super cool. Next up, we got this really cool two-tone Broncos hat going out. We just sold, I have a bunch of these, but this is a 5/8, sold it for $47.49. Again, part of that sale, normally $50, and we paid, I think, $12 for these. So cool hat there, going out to Terrence. Hopefully, I've got a lot of football hats, so I'm really hoping. So I have this label for a Bronco Shark, and I think I put my. Yes, I did. All right, so we about made a mistake, guys. Glad we caught it here. Put the wrong Bronco sticker. This is part of the thing that I was a little bit worried about. Accidentally putting the wrong hat with the wrong label with me just writing the description. So there we go. All right, so the Broncos a Shark goes out to that label. Whew. The Bronco Shark label, excuse me. The two-tone, which is this one here, is the one that goes out to Terrence. So this one goes to this label. Man, I hope I didn't make any more of those. I knew I was going to at some point with me talking and everything, but Terrence has the right label now, and let's get this Shark one in the correct box here with the label for Chris, who bought it over on Macari. All right, disaster averted. Haven't had one of those in a minute. Ugh. Let's talk about everything I do wrong, though. No, I'm just kidding. I did end up shipping the wrong size to somebody somehow. I ended up with a pair of cleats that were listed as a size 12 that were 11.5. And they were one of the ones in my shoe boxes like this one, like we're getting ready to ship here in a minute. I don't know how it happened. Really bummed that it happened, honestly, because it cost me, $16, $18 in shipping back and forth just to get it returned. But it didn't fit the buyer, so I don't know what I did there. And it's causing me to question a lot of my listings. I'm really starting to take a little bit more time with my listings as well. This is some Gymshark jogger pants, size small. Paid, I think, $3 or $4 from that crazy call out in Bread and Butter for them. And we sold them for $28. Almost getting full retail for these, which is crazy. They don't sell this particular style of color anymore, obviously, but pretty cool to get those amounts out of them. Next up, we've got a Adidas hat that we picked up from the Academy sale. Sold this one for only $22. I probably shouldn't have bought it, honestly, but it cost $5. Quick, well, I shouldn't say quick, but a decent return on the investment, but not what I would like to stick with hats. I kind of bought it on a whim just because I was buying a whole bunch of stuff, and you know how you get into those moods. If you guys go out sourcing, you end up buying stuff that you later think, man, I really shouldn't have bought that, just because you got excited about it. So when I see $5 hats, I have a hard time passing up on them. And obviously, like I said, not a bad return on our investment, but not our best one for sure. I haven't resorted yet to shipping these in polys. I probably should. It's an unstructured hat, but I just can't do it. I have a hard time doing it. It would save me probably $1 or so on the fee because it would be under 4 ounces, I think. But I just can't do it. I just can't. I would hate it if I got one in a poly. I'd hate it when I do get them in polys. So I just don't do it. But I probably should. All right. This one is the yellow Adidas hat. There we go. So like I said, I actually have this listed as $3. I don't know why I have this listed as $3. Oh, I did only pay $3 for it. Okay, so not as bad, but still. All right, next up, we got another hat. I've sold a lot of hats this weekend. I love selling hats, but when you got over 5,000, I think I'm pushing almost 6,000 now hats, you better sell a few. Otherwise, you're putting the money in the wrong thing. This one here we sold for $52.99. Retailing it's $44, and it's actually a size 8, but it is a cool Lakers hat. Very rarely do you see stuff on the brim itself, which is really cool. Got the sticker on the bottom here. It's a big one, but definitely a really neat hat if you're a Lakers fan. And we sold that one, like I said, for $53. Even in a size 8, so don't sleep on those size 8s. I gotta grab some more boxes here, guys. Bear with me as I go off camera a bit. Already ran through 1 pack of 25. That's crazy. So we're gonna definitely have to order some more as we go here. All right, I got these boxes I think for 50 cents, if I remember correctly. They almost cost me as much as my shoe boxes. So, hate to do that, add just a little bit, especially with the shipping increase. I'm looking at about $1 more to ship these, which kind of sucks, but part of business. And like I said, at least we keep it under 12 ounces. Trent Norris says, LOL, the group loves polys for hats, but I can't bring myself to do it either. I know. And I mean, I know it's an on-running joke with most of them, but a lot of the guys over there do ship them. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with shipping an unstructured hat in a box or in a poly. I mean, it's not going to damage it. You're not going to, break the bill on them. And obviously it's unstructured, so it's not going to be damaged. But if you get anybody that like buys a lot of hats or anything, it's going to rub them the wrong way. Let's be honest. It would rub me the wrong way. I mean, I just hate seeing hats come in polys, but that's why I don't. Honestly, I may start, but for now, we're not going to. Next up, we got what's going on here. We do have the Hirachas here. These are the high tops, size 9, and I did verify all these match this time. Someone got me on the size or the color on these. One time they were blue and they looked black, and I had them listed wrong, but these are a size 9. These high tops do well, even though they are metal cleats. Metal cleats don't move as fast for me as like the moldeds, and I think it's just because there's a lot of fields that don't allow them anymore, especially turf fields and stuff like that. It's going to tear up their fields, the turf, but they do still sell. And like I said, these high tops do well. We paid $20 for these. Oh, did I 20? Yeah, $19.99 from Burlington, and sold them for $60. I can't remember. I think these are ones I just picked up recently too, so pretty fast sell through for those. We are going to ship those in one of our boxes that we bought for it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to buy more boxes. I did not want to buy more boxes, different multiple sizes, but like I said, these are just too big. And I think what I did is I think these were cheaper than the ones that were a lot closer in size, and so that's why I ordered them, not realizing they were going to be so big that I was actually going to have to use packing. And I don't want to use packing on this because it just takes up too much. So yeah, again, same thing. There's just too much empty space in the box. So we are going to have to use some of these bubbles. I have plenty of them, honestly, so I really shouldn't complain. But I've been selling so many of these shoes recently, I just hate to have to use them all. But we're just going to pop it in there just like that. Keep it mostly in place. Doesn't have to be exact. It's not going to hurt them to roll around a little bit in the box if they need to, but they can get scuffed up and stuff from the boots. But All right, those are going out, like I said, 20 into 60 on those, and that's part of that summer sale. We have moved through most of those cleats. I'm still sitting on some of those trouts, those rainbow trouts. Those got tanked so bad, which we knew they were going to, let's be honest. We knew that was going to happen with how many we were seeing in store. So I don't mind sitting on them until next year. But it was nice to be able to move some of them before the tankers got in there on them. And when I say tankers, guys, these people are, it's not people just undercutting by $1 or $2. These are people that are selling them for like 40 bucks. And if you paid $20 to $25, depending on the cleat, and you're selling them for 40, you're not making money. You're losing money. Something I kind of forgot to mention before we get into this next one. Here, Tampa Bay 47 brand. This is one of those non-structured dad hats. Picked these up for $6. Selling them for $24. Just getting them out of here. They sell quick at that $25 price point. I like to get a little bit more, but honestly, that's what the market is on them. So, not going to complain. Something that a lot of people too, this is kind of going back to the whole reselling thing. People need, obviously, you know, a lot of people don't understand fees and how that works. They think if you sell it for bought it for 20, sell it for 40, you're making $20. We know you have shipping and eBay fees. And most sellers know that, okay? Most sellers know they got the eBay and shipping fees. What a lot of sellers don't consider, though, is your packing material, okay? So even if it's $1 in total for tape, box, and label, per se, like the actual label itself, you're still looking at, you know, $1 at least on that. Okay, so that's another $1 on your fees. The other thing with it is your time, and a lot of people not misjudge, but don't consider the amount of time that they put into an item as far as how much it's worth. For instance, this shirt right here is a Grateful Dead t-shirt we bought from Kohl's for $4, so $4.50 after tax roughly, and sold it for $14. So we got $10. We're going to pay $5 in shipping fees, roughly. I'm estimating here, but say $5 for shipping max with poly or whatever you put it in. So 5 plus 450 is $9.50. Just say $10 all together, and then the $1.50, $2.20 or so. So what did I say? $9.50, $11.50. So $12. Okay, so 12, and we sold it for $13.50. Is what I have in this item right here. That's not worth it. That's $1.50. It wasn't worth my time to hardly peel that label off. But this is a bad buy. This is just something that I bought that I thought would do really well. They didn't sell, so I had to drop them down the price, and now we're just moving them to get rid of them, get my money back. It's not worth $1.50. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize too is, okay, I made $1.50 on this, but I also have to forget that I pay taxes on my profit. So if I made $1.50 on this and I spend and I pay 30% in taxes, which it's not quite that high, but it feels like it, and it used to be for me when I worked retail, almost 30% in taxes, then that's another 30% off that $1.50. So that's 45 cents. So I made $1. And people don't realize that. They don't realize that, you know, just because you get through the fees and all that, you still have to pay taxes on the item. And, you know, if it's 15, 20%, whatever your income rate comes out to, then that's what it is. But you still have that extra additional off of that. And that applies to every single thing you sell. So whatever your profit margin is, you have to realize that you're paying taxes on that amount too. And you have to kind of account that in for it. Not everybody does. And again, I'm not saying you go through and just do that with every item that you have, but you have to consider it. And when people get to these points where 2% is causing them to lose sales or causing them to lose money and they're not being profitable anymore, chances are they weren't very profitable to begin with, even beyond what they think, you know. And as a side hustle, you never notice that. When it's paying your bills, you do, for sure, especially when tax time comes around. But like I said, we just cleared that one out. We were just trying to get rid of it because I wanted my money back. I'm not going to be doing anything with clothing like that anymore. Might stick to like Nike, Adidas stuff, but I'm really trying to niche down into hats and shoes and sports apparel, that type of stuff. That way I can kind of avoid some of those. Yes, that may have been a decent deal if I wanted to wait for it to kind of finally come through, but it's just not worth it for me anymore. So that's why we're trying to clear out, get some of that money so we can put it back into what we want to. Next up, we have this Seattle Sounders hat. We paid $3 for. You can find these really cheap, guys. These U.S. soccer teams, not very many of them are well known except for, was it Miami or whoever that got Ronaldo or Again, I don't follow soccer. Pete loves when I say that. But anyways, a lot of those teams aren't super popular as far as apparel goes, so they get clearanced out a lot. You can still make money on them. Sold this one here for $28. Now I have 5 of these available, but I only paid $3 for them, so I don't mind sitting on that. 3 into 28 is great, and like I said, with hats, you very rarely lose value. They're very rarely going to lose value. If anything, they'll go up the harder they are to find for that particular team. Or if you have Arizona Coyote stuff, when a team disappears like that, that stuff just goes up in value too. We're getting like $50 for almost any hat with them right now, which is super cool. But that one's going out. All right. Only got 3 more labels here, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, let me know. But we are going to try to cut this one a little bit shorter, just so we can get out of here and get back to work. I thank you guys so much for joining us. Do appreciate that. Like I said, if you hit that like button, I appreciate it as well. Next up, we've got this. What is this? This is a Nike American flag beanie, which actually sold after the 4th of July. Well, hopefully they aren't expecting to get it before the 4th of July. Let's put it that way. A little late for that. Picked these up in a crazy deal for less than $5. And we're getting $40 for these guys. So 5 into 40. I love it. Let's double check what retail. Retail is $32, so let's peel that tag and make sure that people don't get mad that I charged them, even though I have to pay shipping and all that stuff. But we'll get this one out for them. Like I said, I don't think it's going to get there for 4th of July, but hopefully they weren't wanting it by then. Other people have events and stuff going on too. It's not just 4th of July where people wear flags. Summertime, that's kind of a ongoing theme. Racing, anything like that, definitely patriotic. So they'll do well. And like I said, they're Nike, so even more there. I don't understand the bucket hat craze. I really don't. I've never wanted to wear one. But that's just me. All right. Next 2 sales we got going out here. I will say this, shipping all these in polys is really nice because it's not taking up near as much space. And my mail carrier is probably going to appreciate it because I shipped a lot of that stuff in boxes just to try to keep them, get rid of the boxes because I had so many of them. All right, next up we've got these. Now I have been taking these out of the box and shipping them to keep them under the weight, which has been super helpful because we're being able to ship them for like $6 or $8. Oops. Oh wow, this one doesn't even have this poly mailer's messed up. It doesn't even have what's it called, but that might work for us. Adhesive. Are these gonna fit? These are a size 10. These have been doing really well. I picked these up from a Kohl's clearance event, like I've told you guys many a times. For I want to say, what did we pay for these? I think we paid $9, maybe $10 for them. Nope, it's not quite there. I got to get another poly mailer that's in between these sizes because these cost about double what those smaller ones do. But like I said, we picked these up online for $10 when they clearanced them out, and we are out of them. I take that back. I think I've got 2 size 9s left, or maybe 1 size 10, something like that. We're down to like 3 pair, which is super good that we're getting rid of them, and we're not going to have to hold them onto them until next summer. But like I said, they do sell during the winter time, just not as fast. These have done really well, though, for $35 on eBay, of all places, too. Normally, I sell them on Amazon because the sell-through rate is higher for everything over there. But they've been doing really well on eBay for me, so cannot complain. All right, 10 into 35 is what I have on these ones. Oops, put that label. I got to remember to put the label on before I pack it. Last item going out today for you guys to see is going to be, well, not quite the last item. I got 2 more here. This Crash Bandicoot pop figure, an exclusive that sold for like $12. Didn't get any money out of this one, and I lost my box for it. Let me grab another box. Oh, no, they're right behind me. Yeah, just trying to get these out again. Same thing. Trying to move, trying to get everything out, and I do not want to move pop figures. They take up so much space and are worth so little. This one I bought at Walmart, I think for $11, so I really didn't make anything off of this. I'm losing money, but I just need them out of here. So that is what we're doing. We're going to grab some bubble mailers, hopefully, or poly, sorry. Not poly either. Some bubble wrap. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get this room set up a little bit. I don't want to take a bunch of time with it, but we are going to get set up, so I'm not constantly running around trying to find bubble mailers and stuff like that, or polys, so that we can get it set up nice and easy. Guys, with Funko Pops, you can have it a little bit loose like this one is. The reason why I say that is because actually you want to give it a little bit of space. You don't want to have it wrapped in with like giant bubble. We did some testing actually when I worked for Buy Rock and Roll. By the way, guys, if you ever will need anything rock and roll related, check them out. Super cool guy, Dennis over there. He's a great guy and still does it. A lot of collectibles, a small business doing just reselling stuff like that. Not reselling, but you can buy all kinds of collectibles and stuff. Anyway, shout out to him. But when I was working for him, he taught me a lot, and we actually took some Funko Pops, wrapped them tight in big bubble, and then threw the box around the house, literally, just to see how much damage, if it's up there and hit it with stuff on the corners and stuff like that. And then we also took some and wrapped loose like this. So you can tell it's barely moving around, okay? But that actually gave that little bit of a gap to where it kept the compression away from it. So when you got hit on the side or anything like that, it would just allow the pop to move over instead of taking damage. And you end up saving it from getting damage in shipment that way. Like I said, we tested out quite a bit in-house, and it worked really well. And we specifically were doing it with Funko Pops and collectible stuff like that. So just something to consider. You don't have to have it wrapped tight, packed with bubble, and then cram it in a box that it barely fits in. You want it to have a little bit of room, a little bit of give, for sure. All right. Last two items going out today. I forgot I had already packed these. Already got the label on them. We've got the Florida Marlins. Well, Miami Marlins now, but the Florida Marlins hat here. 7 1/4. It's that green color that we get all the time that sells really well. Sold this one for like $40, $41.99, I think is what we got out of this one. We paid $13 for it. So that'll be going out today. And then last but not least, we have 2 Dallas hats that we sold. One of them I've had forever. This particular one. I got this in a bulk deal a long time ago. Actually, one of my very first hat bulk deals we got these in. This is the first one that sold actually of this like teal minty color. It's not blue. It's actually more of a green. And then we also sold this one that we just got from the Academy sale. Not too long ago, actually an online Academy sale that we got called out in Bread and Butter as well. And just sold that one as well. The buyer actually bought both, so saved on shipping with that. And we ended up selling both of those for $80 total. And like I said, we have probably $25 total in them. So 25 into 80 on that. I think that is it. Hey Arnold, what's up? All good there? Yep, all good here, man. How about you? I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you in here. I know you got a different time zone, so I'm sure it makes it a little bit difficult. But thank you so much for joining. I know you always rewatch, so I appreciate that as well. Everything's going good, man. We're just wrapping up here. I think that is literally it. Guys, we are really close to 250 subscribers, so I don't ask this very often. Or I try not to ask this very often. Let's see. Same, yeah, busy times as well, but good, thanks. Awesome, I'm glad to hear it. We are really close to 250 subscribers. So if you could, if any of you would mind, if you don't, it's no problem at all. But if you have anybody that you think might be interested in these videos, even just possibly to show kind of what you do even, to give them an idea, if you could share this video or share one of the videos, whichever one you think is the best one, I'd appreciate it. I greatly appreciate all the support you guys have shown, and I want to give back to you guys. Like I said, we are going to do something. We may hit that 250 subscriber mark this week, and I'm going to do my best to have some sort of a plan for that for next week. If not next week, then the following. But I do want to give back to you guys for all the love and support that you guys have shown me. But like I said, to get there, if you could help us out by sharing it, if there's any video ideas or anything like that, let me know. Leaving those comments, even if you don't rewatch the video, obviously I don't know why you would if you were here for the live. But if you do rewatch the video, leave a comment down below. It doesn't even have to be a question, it can just be what your opinion is or how your week's going, anything like that. I love to see it, love to interact with you guys on that stuff. So I appreciate that, and it helps us out in the YouTube algorithms. We're going to be getting some stuff up. Like I said, I know I say it every video, but we really have not forgotten about it. The Instagram is down below, and we are going to be working on the Facebook page this week to make sure to get that up and going. So lots of stuff going on. Like I said, we're going to try to do some branding as well to get this channel kind of up and going a little bit more. We possibly have some collabs coming up real soon as well, which I'll share some more information when I get some more details on that. But super excited about that to hopefully get the name out there a little bit more. again, this is not for me, guys. I don't want you to think I'm just trying to, build myself up or anything like that. But I just want to create this into something that people can come hang out, we can talk and chat and enjoy it. Give somewhat of a social network, I guess you could say, to some resellers in a different format where we can actually talk live and be interactive and stuff like that. That's what the whole goal of this is. So I'm not going to rant on anything like that anymore, but I do thank you guys for all that support. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything that you think that might help out the channel, then let me know as well. I'm always here to hear what you guys have to say. And I appreciate all of the input that you guys have put in so far. With that being said, guys, I think that is going to wrap us up. Hit that like button, hit that comment button if you can. Until then, though, we'll see you next week. Like I said, 250 subscriber giveaway going to be coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. And hopefully that may be next episode 21 coming out next week. But until then, we'll see you. Have a good week, guys, and keep on reselling.